from the press center and around the world, technically. This is the semi-final one. Qualifying, this was the actual show. For days we watched the fake qualifiers, but tonight the 10 countries that were announced are actually the real qualifiers of the evening. And boy, without even, guys, can you even put into words how you feel right now? Gabe, your mouth is still open.
I feel brutalized and attacked.
I can't even see Gabe. It's that bad.
I know. Roy, what's going through your head right now without even going to the details?
I swear to God, the final announcement, I was like, did I really mess up with my tactical voting? And like...
No. James, what's going through your mind right this moment?
Actually, going through to the very end, I was actually thinking, damn you, Roy, what have you done? But ultimately, they pull through. I've got some highs, some lows. I'm sure we'll process it all through the next hour or so.
Yes, Sean, your immediate reaction again.
I've not missed that feeling. I really haven't missed that feeling.
Why is that?
Just, I know it's been 2 years and we were excited for having everything back, but I've not missed that stress of watching the qualifiers actually roll in. That was awful. That was all kinds of awful. But yeah, a couple of surprises in there for me. So yeah, it's interesting.
A couple of surprises from me as well, and we'll go through them one by one. And everybody in the chat, keep asking questions at East United when you can. We try to get in as many as possible, but we got to talk about it. First, the 10 qualifiers that start with the good, and then, of course, the unfortunate 6 countries that did not make the cut. And some surprises, maybe no. Let's go for this. But the first song of the evening that was announced as a direct qualifier was Norway. Tix was the cheerleader all week long, and he was tonight as well. He was on camera cheering on every single artist, it seems like, to the best of his abilities. And he gets to perform again in the grand final. Anyone raise your hand surprised that he is through? Any surprises?
No.
No, Gabe, what were you thinking? Like when you saw the performance, you just knew this was like, yeah.
Oh, I knew he's been a safe. I mean, when we had our preview stream, I don't think we even talked about Norway because it was just I feel like it was sort of taken as read. We all thought it would qualify, and he sailed through. It's it's a very sort of Eurovision style song. It has its audience. I wish they'd explained it better on the BBC coverage. They didn't. I don't know about elsewhere. The fact that how powerful the moment when he took his glasses off. I found that quite emotional. Yeah. But absolutely no surprise. You knew it was always going to be a safe qualifier.
Yeah, James, this is the first time I think you watched the actual full show. I think in the individual rehearsals, he didn't take off his glasses. Did you like that moment where he made that connection with the audience?
I agree, because it's been well known that he sort of uses that as a shield, sort of a la Sia. So yeah, that was actually a touching moment there.
Yeah, did anyone raise your hand again? Did not have Norway in the predictions as a qualifier on this team? No, me neither. So for all of us here, Norway was a fairly obvious qualifier, and rightfully so. It's going through. Congratulations. Now, the second qualifier of the night, maybe not a surprise. Israel. Alene, there was a lot of talk. Can she do it or not? Could the political environment hurt her? Is the song, going to drown between other songs? Clearly, that did not happen. And once again, raise your hand. Who did not have Israel in their 10 qualifier list?
I mean...
I have your list, Roy. I have your list.
Yeah, I know. Well, then, yes.
Yeah, you can. So, James,
God, Matt, did I forget to send you my list? I'm sorry.
No, you did not. No, you're good. James, so you're the only one you thought Israel can make it, and you were right.
Yep, I refer you to the preview video where I said that Israel would eke through. So, hurrah for that one prediction.
Did you think?
Yeah.
Sorry, did you think that it was really both televoters and juries, or you think this could be more of a jury vocal performance kind of push?
That they like the sort of the whistle tone at the end. I would say it's probably more of a more of a combo, an even combo rather than one jury. Because I would think the jury might take off points for all the busy work going on and the unzippering of her costume in the beginning was not, well, at the end actually, was not smoothly done again.
Yes.
But I would think those would take points off for jury. So I think it's actually a kind of more 50-50 split.
Yeah. And questions or comments about Israel's qualification or Norway, since I didn't do that, in the chat at ESC United. Zivmon says, go Eden, go Israel. So there's some support there. And did you guys notice, did you pay attention to her reaction? Like, she broke down.
Yeah.
So what?
I don't.
Yep.
I think not to, because obviously it's hard to ignore the real world. I don't think she was expecting to qualify. So I think that was a real sort of release for her, because obviously this has all, really started kicking off while she's in Rotterdam. So I'm sure it's been an emotional toll for her in particular, because let's not forget, these artists, they're nothing to do with anything to do with the outside world. These are just normal people like you and me, Yeah. So I think that's really what resonated with her. I think I said before the show, I was thinking maybe 13th, 14th for Israel. So they may have done a couple of spots better. They may have even really excelled that. But yeah, I think, she should be really proud of herself. And it wasn't one I saw coming, I'll be honest with you. But in a way, I'm glad that she did go through.
Mm-hmm. Now, I agree. And Carl Compton says, I was shocked when Israel was named, but surprisingly happy. I felt the same way, but you knew that somebody else was going to miss out on the final. So, but that's how it goes. There's only space for 10 people. So, as said, Norway, Israel, the first to announce. Then the third country of the night announced as qualifier, Russia. Russia through the Russian woman Manizha made it through. Did anyone have them? Raise your hands again. Not as a qualifier in the predictions. No, all five of us said, yeah, this one will go through. Roy, your thoughts?
My grandma even texted me and she said she only liked two songs, one of them being Slovenia and the other being Russia. And I was super surprised that she liked Russia. It looked phenomenal. It is so outstanding. It is Russia. People will resonate with it. It's very colorful. It makes sense to disqualify, definitely.
Yes, Sean, what were you thinking? I mean, not a surprise. And you think that it was probably a televote push, or you think the juries will also appreciate this particular genre?
I don't know about the juries. It's probably more of a televote winner, because I think I did a little bit of scrolling through Twitter. The BBC feeds in particular, because I like to see what the Brits are thinking about these songs, and they did really love it. She's got so much charisma. It was a great stage performance, and she just really brought it today. So I knew she was going to go through, but she found another level today. So I'm really pleased for her.
Yeah. Idilo is asking, by the way, about did Israel get booed? I didn't hear anything. Did you guys hear anything?
Not at all.
There was a couple at the start, I heard.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
but
like maybe just 5 people just trying to cause trouble. Nothing major, but I did pick up on that.
Yeah, I can only speak for the president, and there was a lot of joy for Israel. Because everyone loved, a talented singer like Edin, it was very loud here. It was like, oh my God, there was a lot of relief. So that's certainly what I observed. Zivmon is saying Russia was one of the best tonight. So somebody certainly agreed. And again, if you have questions about the songs at ESC United, as we're going to go through them. The fourth country of the night that was announced as a qualifier, Azerbaijan. Once again, everyone, raise your hand if you did not have them as a qualifier.
Wait, I do need to raise my hand there.
Yeah, so Roy and James did not have it. Sean, Gabe, and I did think it'd go through. Sean, was it more like a nail biter, like a borderline, or were you fairly confident?
No. I saw a lot of people saying that they didn't think this was going to go through, and I just wondered what they were smoking, because this is just Eurovision fodder through and through. She's really good vocally, which I wasn't expecting. I don't know if I'm doing her a disservice by that, but she nailed this. It was a really good performance visually, strong song towards the end of the draw. It's Azerbaijan, you know what I mean? I was amazed that people were thinking that it wasn't going to qualify, because I didn't have an issue with seeing this in the final at all.
Yeah. Same for you, Gabe?
I mean, once I heard it tonight, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is fine. I expect it came somewhere between 6th and 8th. Inclusive. Otherwise, that would just be me saying it came 7th. But somewhere between 6th and 8th in the semi, I think. It sort of it had that, we look for all these different sort of niches, and I do think that it kind of cornered the ethnopop niche in this semi quite well. And so I think it will have that, which is actually quite a large number of voters, and I think it will have just swept all of that up and come through really comfortably. And she smashed it tonight. I thought she sounded great.
That was one. Yeah, she was great. Lots of energy, lots of personality. I still stand by what I said. I think the staging could have been better and more brighter and exciting, but the song itself just a banger. And as you pointed out, Sean, just such a Eurovision friendly sound. And it just, I initially was concerned, but when I did my final prediction, I'm like, nah, Azerbaijan, there's no way this is not going to go through. And so I put it in there. What was it for you, James, that made you not put it in your predictions?
Compared to the rest, I thought the staging was kind of crap. They could have done a lot more. It's just her four dancers. One of the things that led me to believe it would not be qualifying is because I thought this would be the one entry that falls into that sort of zone of indifference. I didn't think it was the best. I didn't think it was the worst. And normally that dooms acts at Eurovision, but I guess this year, competing against the dance number Croatia, I actually thought of the two Croatia would go through. I thought their staging was better. I thought she hit her notes better. I thought the dance routines was better, but well.
Yeah. So in the next few outlets, we're probably going to go for them a little quicker because I would say that they're slightly more expected. Fifth qualifier of the evening. Again, doesn't mean they were in fifth place. Malta. Anyone not thinking it's one going to go through? No. Roy, how did you feel about this performance?
Yeah, I mean, they will have a great result with this. I still don't think they will be a winner, but they'll have a great result. It's very slick. It's very polished. It's a good song. Yeah, I mean, it was always going to sail through, really.
Yeah. Gabe disagrees.
We heard a winner tonight.
Yes, I agree.
We heard a winner tonight.
Yes, I agree.
And it was Malta. That performance was unbelievable. Like, it took my breath away completely. Twitter exploded. She got the loudest cheer in the arena of the night. She was incredible. And actually, no, I would call it, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd put a big fat wad of cash on Malta right now to win. Because I thought that was stunning, super memorable. Performance was great, and they'll polish it more before the weekend. I think she won the semi-final. I think she'll win Eurovision.
All right. That is a big prediction coming from Gabe. Again, though, as a disclaimer, we do not encourage or advise to use our input to put money down. We are not responsible for your financials. So just as another disclaimer. The other one, qualifier number 6, Lithuania. Once again, raise your hand if you actually thought this isn't going to go through in your predictions. I see you, Sean, you smile. I mean, duh, right?
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me was that, is it Vidotas, the lead singer? I think is his name. He seemed quite surprised that they went through, which I was really surprised about myself because I thought they knew that they had a good song there. And they must have known that that was a moment earlier.
Yeah.
Particularly because everyone saw this was, not to keep going on about it, but obviously with the crowd there, this is the first moment that a lot of people in Europe have watched the TV show with a crowd like this and had a performance like that to watch. And they smashed it, and the crowd were loving it, and it was a great vibe. I know the locals, as they're called, the Brits were loving it. I think the Roop were actually trending in the UK. So I feel like if the UK were voting tonight, Lithuania would probably get 12 from the UK no matter what they sent out anyway. But I think they would have absolutely smashed it tonight, and I think they will on Saturday.
Go ahead, sorry.
So yeah, they were great. They were absolutely brilliant, and I'm not surprised at all that they went through.
Yeah, what a way to start the show as well. Also, not last year, in 2019, we did also like the Twitter, how you like the song. Interesting enough, it almost correctly identified our Twitter poll, the televote, right? Interesting enough. So I put them up again just to see if we're going to be close again this year. Lithuania got huge boost there. People loved it. So there was something about the energy. I think it was so smart to have this one go first. It really got people going, and people remembered it until the very end. So no surprises here. Cameron Clark is saying, I've got to say Malta is now the favorite to win. We need to probably going to take a close look at the betting odds soon. So, but let's see how it goes. Janik agrees with Gabe, saying for me, Malta felt like a winner performance. And someone's asking when we get the actual placements. We get them basically Sunday morning. As soon as the winner of Eurovision is known, a few minutes later, they will be on the Eurovision website. So stay tuned for that. So this is the qualifier number 6. Number 7, shocker. Everyone make your shock face. Cyprus. Now, seriously, I mean, well deserved, right? Let's do the. Anybody think didn't have it in their predictions? Anyone stupid enough? No. James, what do you think?
If I was a betting man, again, don't gamble because most of us don't know jack squat about predicting Eurovision. I would have put Cyprus in the top 3 of this performance. It was exceptionally done. I had a middling opinion of the song at the beginning, but the stagecraft and the use of reds in contrast to Sweden was well done.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this, Gabe?
I mean, we knew, like it was always going to happen, and I think you could tell from her reaction as well. Like it looked more of like relief than anything else. Like, okay, fine, my name's come out now. Because I think by that point you start to get a little bit nervous, even if you're really sure. I thought she gave a great performance. I thought it was really powerful. And again, people are up. You can tell people are upping their game. Now, I guess the live shows, they're finding another level. I'm so excited to see who can sort of bring it up even higher come Saturday.
Yeah. So that's qualifier number 7. And you guys can ask.
Just a point on Cyprus. Who'd have thought a few years ago? This is the 6th time in a row that Cyprus have qualified now.
They're a powerhouse.
Which is crazy for an island of their size and how they used to be at Eurovision. That's crazy.
Yes.
So well done to them.
Indeed. Life really will be better in spring.
Yeah.
Good times. Exactly. And then qualifier number 8, I was getting like, is it going to happen or not? Sweden, qualifier number 8. Who did not have them as a qualifier?
Did I? Yes,
I think you did have it. Yeah. Did you have it? Okay. Sean, what made you think to not put as? I
just thought like. I mean, I don't have anything against the song. It's very competently done. He's a great singer. I just thought that whenever I've heard it, particularly in these dress rehearsals, it's just got lost in the show for me. It just doesn't feel that memorable. Obviously, there was no hype before the contest. It was never in anyone's sort of top 3s when you see fan votes or anything like that. I guess people just, the general public just must have liked it enough to send it through. I don't think it would have been top 5 in the semi-final. I don't know how it will do in the final, but it was. I'm not entirely shocked. I just kind of went, okay, it's one of them. I wouldn't have been shocked if it failed. I wouldn't have been shocked really if it went through.
Yeah, I put Sweden out last minute. I knew it was a risk because I knew that probably my guesses, and we don't know. We'll have to wait for the results. That this once again probably got a lot of love from the juries, potentially enough to get it over the finish line. Maybe the televoters liked it as well, but I'm still skeptical about that. But we will see. So I was like, well, if there's a year where Sweden may not qualify, it would be this year. But clearly that did not happen. So I'm trying to think. I flipped them around with somebody else. I don't remember last minute. So once again, I should have just stuck with my gut, but I wanted to take a risk and I messed up. But Sweden is through, and we'll talk later where they end up. And everyone in the chat, forgive us. As soon as we're going through all the songs, and we answer more questions as well. Then qualifier number 9. Belgium. I had a lot of cheers here with Boris next to me, of course. He didn't believe it, but I did. Who did not have Belgium in their list?
I think me.
Yes. So, Gabe, you were one of them. Why? Were you surprised as well?
To be honest, when it came up, I sort of sat there and thought, I probably should have known that. Because I mean, they've got the 90s nostalgia vote. It's quite a good performance of the song. I've started to like it. The more I hear it, I quite like it. There's an audience for it. There is an audience for it, which again, I don't think anyone else quite tapped into. And they clearly, they exploited it well. So ultimately, I mean, I can't really have any complaints. It was a good performance, and they deserved to qualify. Although it was more than I expected. I just didn't think it would quite take them over the line.
Yeah. James, you were more confident because you said you had it, right?
I refer you to our pre-show video where I said this would low-key go through. And for the reason Gabe pointed out, anyone who was involved with anyone sexually in the 1990s, their stuff was the soundtrack.
I love it.
To
that. Is funny.
So a lot of people have fond memories of Hooverphonic, even if they went dormant in their mind in the aughts and the tens. As soon as Belgium announced Hooverphonic's coming back, it's like, yes! All right, let's see what they can do. Yeah. So I'm actually not surprised. I think it's, again, some hidden, untapped demographic of middle-aged people who got very frisky to it in the 90s.
James, I'm so glad you said that, because I really wanted to say that that's the demographic that would vote for this, but I didn't want to say it from my position because it just sounds like it's just like, yeah. But like this is going to be like your mum and your dad watching Eurovision. They're going to vote for this.
No,
it's like it's going to be that type of song, isn't it? So
wasn't it nice, Sean, when you were like the most popular person on ESC United? I think that just ended
that era is over now.
I know that's over. No, I mean
I'm not putting the two and two together. Don't worry.
No, I was actually not surprised. So, I mean, I never understood why people didn't look more confident. Like, I'm like, this is the one song where I'm like, this is not even borderline for me. I thought this was a fairly safe qualifier because I said it before, there is this non-ESC bubble, which tends to be on the younger side that doesn't really understand the song. But even within the bubble, there were plenty of fans, maybe not quite as many. And knowing the juries would give it some support and there would be a market out there, I knew it was going to go through. So that was a fairly clear one for me. And I am happy. It's quality, it's great, and Belgium absolutely deserves it.
Yeah,
and then
can I like talk about it? Because
no,
before the rehearsals went live, I did have Belgium as like quite a sure qualifier. I think I had it like fifth even in the semi-final. But I just got so caught up with the stagings, and for me, the staging of Belgium, it just didn't click with me because it's such an intimate song, and I always fail to connect with her as a singer because there's so many like wide shots and like going around each band member, and I couldn't connect with it. So I got really caught up with it, but I should have just known that like as soon as it was over, I just kind of knew, it's qualifying. It's going to qualify.
And sadly, also, it's the only ballot basically that's gone through in this semi. So maybe they make up for it in semi 2, but that is definitely just an interesting observation as well. Then the last song of the night, everyone was getting a little nervous, but I'm like, it's probably to me the most anticlimactic 10th qualifier, Ukraine. Once again, first of all, anybody not had it in a top 10 prediction? No. Of course not. Anyone was getting nervous that actually they're not going to make it? Like you actually were like, uh-oh.
Yes.
I was like,
I did the article for the qualifiers,
and
I wrote Ukraine in. I wrote Ukraine in before it was even announced because I just knew. Excuse my French, but they were fucking incredible tonight.
Great, two curse
words. Absolutely incredible. They were just another step up again. Yeah, it was brilliant. And I don't care if people say, people aren't going to get it. People don't understand it. If people like music and they appreciate a good stage show, they are going to love Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely, they stole the show for me tonight. I watched Malta and I was still thinking about Ukraine. I had absolutely no doubts. I don't know why they put them last, if anything, as the last qualifier.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It just seemed very obvious.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was the first time I think Ukraine was announced last. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I was actually basically saying the same thing, that this was not a song for me that I listened to a whole lot like in the studio version, right? It's not my kind of song where I go crazy over, but it is a different song live to me. It's like there is nothing like it in the running, and it is so amazing, and you all have to give credit where it's due. I thought it was amazingly done, and it just there's nothing like it in the running, and Ukraine just knows every single time how to stage it. I don't know what they do, but they do it every single time, and so good. So those were definitely the 10 qualifiers of tonight. That means we also have, unfortunately, 10 non-qualifier, 6 non-qualifiers, forgive me. Let's go for them real quick, one by one. The first one on the list, Slovenia. Anyone had Slovenia as a surprise qualifier in their top 10? No. What were you thinking, James? Like, yeah, this was never going to happen, or did you? What do you think about this whole package?
Well, I remember on the preview video, didn't we all say who's going to come in last, and we all said pretty much Slovenia?
Oh, we did, right? Already forgot.
Yeah,
about that.
so that pretty much, I think, expresses our surprise or lack thereof that she didn't make it. Even though for a minute with her postcard featuring her and a cat, I thought, oh no, what have I done poo-pooing this song? But no, unfortunately, it does not surprise me that this one did not make it.
Yeah, I didn't. Anyone else? Any thoughts on this one? I mean, did anything think like, oh, maybe this performance was really good? There could actually, maybe there is something happening.
She missed the light spot again. You know, at the moment where the light sprouts out from underneath her, she was standing in front of it. And I saw that, and I just thought, oh, that's something up. She's a good singer, but it was never right. It was never going to happen.
Yeah, it was over as soon as she tried to whip up the crowd, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like it was always poorly advised, that, and it just the way it was staged. It's like I've said it so many times now about it already, but the way it was staged just didn't elevate it enough. Like North Macedonia, I know we're going to come to it, but that's how you do it. Whereas Slovenia just didn't do that at all with this song.
Yeah, I think there were not too many surprises when it comes to Slovenia, unfortunately. It's just how it played out. So then let's talk about another non-qualifier that we had this evening, and it is for the very first time, Australia did not make it our remote performance. Anyone had Australia in their predictions in the top 10? Did anyone think after tonight, after watching this, oh, this could actually happen? It's still in it? Roy, you shaking your head?
No.
Yeah, no, it just misses that dynamic energy that most of the other performers had from the stage, and it was always kind of a bit of a, not weird, but like a difficult song for people to immediately grab, maybe, and it was always going to be a risk, and her not being there just didn't add anything more to it, really, and yeah, it all just worked against her, unfortunately, and I feel bad for her because she's been working hard for this, and it feels nearly unfair, but yeah, I could see it coming.
Yeah, this you've experienced probably didn't quite pan out as she was hoping. Gabe, do you think that the fact that she was performing remotely hurt her even more? Or was the song just never really like a contender?
I don't think the song was ever a contender for me. There was a lot of things happening, but I remember how I felt the first time I listened to it. I was like, whoa, this is complete chaos. Like, there's way too much happening here. And I'm just not. I'm getting lost. And I have a feeling it'll be the same thing for the viewing public. I thought her live on tape performance was really good, and she maximized the potential of the song. I just think she was always going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, I thought so too. We're going to answer your questions in the chat in just a moment. Let's just go through the non-qualifiers real quick. The next one on the list is Ireland. Who had Ireland as a qualifier?
I did at the end.
Yeah.
Like last minute.
No, I didn't.
I was,
for that.
but I think it was really rooting for it a whole lot, but it just vocally didn't come together, huh? Sean?
Yeah, I was quite surprised today. It was the worst run through that I've heard. I don't even think it's nerves. I don't know what it was. Maybe she got overexcited and it showed in her voice, but she sounded really like nasally, and the stage show was great, but it just, you can have the staging, but it's got to sound okay at least to have the full package, and I don't know what happened tonight with Ireland. I think it was always going to be borderline anyway regardless, so she did have to nail it tonight, and she just didn't, unfortunately. She's a great ambassador for Ireland, don't get me wrong, she's done a wonderful job for them, but it just wasn't to be tonight.
Yeah. James, you were more confident that she was going to go through?
A little bit. I had it as a marginal non-qualifier. I was hoping though it would go through, and I remember when during the second dress rehearsals for Ireland, when they got some of the technical issues out with the pages and the treadmill and the reveal of the equipment. I was optimistic, like, oh wow, if they do this on the night, she'll be through. But yeah, she was missing the eye of the tiger tonight. I don't know quite what happened, but in their second dress rehearsals, you could see it in her eyes. She like wanted to rip your damn head off to get to that trophy. But yeah, just there seemed like a couple of moments early in the song where she missed a couple of beats, and I think it just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, everyone, we will find out in the very near future what half each qualifier will perform in. The press conference will start shortly, so we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Who else do we have on the list? North Macedonia. Anyone had it as a qualifier? Gabe, Roy, and isn't that interesting? So 3 of us didn't. So Sean and I did not. Gabe, you're sad.
I heard the performance and cried my eyes out, and I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. I heard it and it was like, wow, no one's given him a second thought, and he smashed it. I really thought he was going to do it, and I was so gutted when I realised he hadn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing more he could have done. It's like Sean said before, he just elevated the whole thing.
He tried his best. I was just as touched as you were, but I did not have it as a qualifier, just knowing that not everyone really goes for it. I kind of stuck with my gut initially that I still think it may have ended up in like 7th or 8th place with the juries, but it just wasn't enough for the televoters. So I don't expect North Macedonia to be in last place when it comes to the overall ranking, but I did have a little bit of a just feeling, yeah, it's just not going to happen. Roy, you did have it as well, right, as a qualifier?
Yeah, and I kind of picked it as like I wanted to have a bit of a shocker in there, like one that I could see being a surprise.
My Sweden, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's always going to be, there will always be a little bit of a surprise. And so that was mostly my reasoning for picking North Macedonia as a qualifier, because his voice is phenomenal. He would have probably been a qualifier with the juries. The issue is the televote. And yeah, I guess it just wasn't enough for him. I also don't think he came in last place. Am I too tremendously sad? No, he did touch my heart, and it will be something that, the song will still be there for you to watch, to enjoy, and to feel emotional about. And yeah, it just wasn't to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is correct. Next up is Croatia. Also did not qualify. Some people may say as the biggest surprise. Who had it in the top 10 prediction? So everyone had it, right? So James, what were you thinking when you saw like it didn't go through?
I was quite shocked by that one. Actually, I thought this would go through instead of Azerbaijan, and I thought, oh, finally, they actually more or less nailed the mark where they lift her up and spin her around after several times of being a few feet off. I thought she's got good charisma. I didn't notice too much wrong with the staging. Today, I thought she nailed it. So yeah, I am unpleasantly surprised that this one didn't make it through.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. No, actually, my boat is different. Actually, it's not. I'm not in the same boat. I blame everybody else, but basically, I'm blaming myself for listening to everybody else because I always had Croatia as a non-qualifier because I'm like, the song is just not. It doesn't click with me. But then people are like, the staging is good. I'm like, yeah, it is really good. And then I once again I should have known better just to listen to my gut feeling, and I didn't.
Come on.
I get mad at myself for always like sometimes I just want to cover my eyes, and I was like, I should have done it, but it's my own fault. Every single time there's one song. Well, to be fair, I also listened on Russia on this one a little bit. So with Russia, I was convinced. With Croatia, I was convinced, and I guess that didn't work out. Anybody else? Because everybody thought Croatia's going to go through. Roy, Sean,
yeah,
Gabe?
I think what it was.
I knew.
Sorry, Roy, go first, and then Sean.
I think what it was overall is that I don't know, she was a little bit shaky in places, and it was a little bit messy in places as well sometimes. And it was still a very strong performance that I really, really like, but just a lot of people that just aren't in the bubble messaged me that she was a little bit off and they weren't fully able to get into the performance. And I guess with Croatia, it is also a lot of the times like it is a cool song. You're really enjoying it while watching and listening, but you'll have it like fifth or something. So you wouldn't really necessarily give your votes to it. And I think that is ultimately what kind of hurt it the most, that it is enjoyable, but it's not enjoyable enough to give it your votes.
Yeah. And Sean, go ahead.
As soon as Israel qualified, I knew something was up with how things were going to go, because I thought, well, for me, I thought Croatia was so much better than Israel in every run through that I saw, and Israel just felt like a poorer version of that. Not to take away from the song or their performance, but I thought Croatia nailed it, and I thought she especially did really well tonight. I guess a lot of the high notes, maybe they just didn't come off as well as they could have done. But visually, this was a stunning performance, and the song is good. You know, it's catchy. It's I think it was in a good place in the running order as well. So it was probably the biggest surprise for me. I really thought Croatia would go through. But yeah, I guess people just went for Israel. It's one of them. You get it in Eurovision where there's two very similar songs, and generally only one of them makes it through. And it's just down to preference. So yeah, I'm disappointed, and I feel sorry for Croatians because I feel like they must have felt confident with this song. And I feel sad for them because obviously they've put everything into a performance like this, and it's still not paid off for them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It was definitely, to me at least, the better stage performance and one of the better ones in the semi. I would even go as far as saying. Thank you, by the way, Aiden Myler, for your super chat. I get the vocals for Ireland were not on point at this stage, but if Ireland sent Sweden or Norway song, they still would not equal. We haven't the voting diaspora in Europe. I mean, to be fair, not to pick Sweden and Norway have like the Nordic support, but they only had each other, right? So I don't think there was necessarily a whole lot of diaspora for Norway or Sweden. Would anyone agree? No.
I mean, Ireland only qualified in 2018, so I don't get these sort of flippant we won't qualify with anything type viewpoints. Like, it's literally Ireland had a great song with a great stage in 2018 and they qualified. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I don't buy those type of viewpoints. I'm sorry.
Petar says this is not real and all is money. I don't know if I agree with that either. I think that's not how it works, and I would like to see evidence on that. But still, I really appreciate the super chat. And then the last, give me 1 second. Boris will send me some message. But the last one on our list that didn't go through is Romania. We were all fearful that was going to happen. Did anyone on our team still have Romania in their prediction in the top 10? Raise your hands. So, Roy, you still thought it was going to be enough?
I just had faith. I just thought, we've seen Blanche wasn't vocally perfect throughout the rehearsals too, and it's still such an artsy, cool song and cool performance. Like, deep down inside, I knew it wasn't going to qualify, but I just still had faith in Roxen that she could pull it off. But I guess it was sort of a bet against better will, and I guess, it wasn't meant to be. The song was too difficult for her, and it's unfortunate because she does have talent. She has a very unique voice, and it's unfortunate, but I saw it coming. I just still had faith.
Yeah. James, any other thoughts on Romania? I mean, you saw it coming from a mile, or what do you think?
I did. I just don't think, even though the song in a way captures the zeitgeist, I don't think people wanted to hear that kind of message this year, necessarily. And as for the staging, I thought it a bit weird when she collapses at the end into that pile of people. And then she opens up and says, "Thank you, Europe." I thought, oh, that was a bit bizarre, tonally.
Yeah, no, I get why you want to do it, but it seemed a little odd that it's great. I think they were just very I would use the term over-ambitious in Romania. Wanted to have her do all the movement, and she's not as experienced of a singer, so I think that she was always out of breath and just couldn't keep up. And I think they should have probably just had her at a microphone singing and doing maybe some gestures. Maybe that would have helped vocally, but I don't know if, as you pointed out, James, I do think maybe the song was just not the kind of music that people really wanted to hear in 2021, which may explain why we only have one true ballad going through in this semi. So that is the outcome. So, and now everyone in the chat at ESC United, ask your questions away in terms of this semi. Be kind, because everyone, all 16 acts deserve our respect and love. Those who qualified, we're very happy for them, and those who didn't, we're very sad for them, because they all came here to make their country proud and do their best, and that's all you can ask for, and we hope you're going to respect it as well.
On Romania, I have no idea what went on in early rehearsals, but in the very first rehearsal where they did the full staging, the staging director should have turned around and gone, she's way too out of breath. We do not have time to fix it. Simplify it now. I don't know why that didn't happen. And I think that suggests something went wrong with the process of preparing this entry. Because if you'd stood her still, she would have been a lot more powerful. She would have had time to think about her breathing, because she was running around trying to get everything in. And it was clear, it was like, it wasn't natural and it didn't feel comfortable to her.
Yeah.
You know, compare that to somebody with a similar voice, Victoria, who they have sitting on stage with her hand, you know, letting sound run through her fingers. It's like about deploying the resources you have in the right way, and they just didn't do it at all. And I think that staging director probably shouldn't stage another entry for Romania. I don't think they'll be welcoming them back, because that is what let them down.
Yeah,
and it's held them back the whole way through this last week and a half.
Yeah, and I'm just ready because, you know, Romania wants a powerhouse at Eurovision, now the third non-qualification in a row. So I don't give up, Romania. Your time will come. It's just this year it did not come together, unfortunately. I hope Roxen will still continue to make great music. This is not the end of a career, you know, it's just the end of Eurovision for her. So make sure, if you love her as an artist, to follow her on social media and buy her music going forward, because she still needs your support. This is not the end of Roxen. Let's ask some question here. BNB asks, do you think Ireland's staging was too dark, complex, and distracting from the actual good song, that people didn't fully pay attention to the song because they tried to figure out the staging? What do you think, Sean? Could it have been more like an Iceland 2016 scenario?
Well, I don't buy it with Iceland 2016 either, and
yeah,
I think Ireland did a really good staging this year. I don't think it distracts from the song. I think it elevates it, if anything. You know, I wouldn't have really had Ireland as a qualifier, but then it's sort of, the staging made me think, well, maybe there is something here. I just think tonight she just wasn't at it vocally, and the televote would have let her down because of that. And obviously, I'm not sure what the jury support would have been like. Obviously, we now know whichever it wasn't enough. It's just, it's one of those cases. I've got a lot of affinity to Ireland, because they've got a very similar story to us in Eurovision. You know, sort of ineptitudes and things like that over the last however many years, and you know, finding decent-ish entries, staging them semi-well, and it's just not quite coming off, and I can get that. I just think it'll come for Ireland, don't get me wrong. I just don't think this was ever a song that was going to sail through. And I just feel like the staging worked well for them, but obviously it wasn't enough to make it tonight.
So just real quick, everyone, how many did you get right in your predictions, James?
Probably a little over half, 6.
Okay. Roy?
Before rehearsals, 8. After rehearsals, 7.
That's how it goes. It messes with your brain. Gabe?
I stuck my flags to the mast and tweeted my prediction while voting was open. I got 8.
8. Sean?
8 at this end. I missed Israel and Sweden.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got 8. I missed Israel and Sweden. So there we go. So it was the same thing. But Sweden, I knew I was taking a risk, and there's this we can agree. There's always that one surprise, right? at least one, where you just didn't see it coming. And I thought Sweden could be the one that wouldn't make it, but that didn't come. But we have to wait and see, because it could be. Are we going to have a situation like a Verona 2017 where the televoters actually really liked it, but the juries put in the bottom 2, I think, and that was enough to kick it out? Stuff like that could happen with other songs. And
Verona deserve not to qualify, though.
That I completely, strongly disagree, and I pretend this comment did not happen. I'm going to poo-poo on your favorites now, Sean. Which one did you like very much?
You do it every year anyway. It doesn't make a difference.
So Congus is saying, am I the only one that thinks Cyprus was overhyped? Was it business disappointment? Ooh, this is loud. Oh, that's the first pick. Tix is picking his half.
It's 9 versus 11. 11 first half, 9 second half.
I've got it on here as well. I don't.
So you guys can hear it. Guys, get ready. Norway is picking, and what is it? Second half. Norway is going to be in the second half of this semi.
That's interesting.
More and more.
11 and 8 left.
11 and 8, yes. So,
by the way, on Tix, did you hear? I saw he said in an interview. It actually made me quite emotional when I read this just now. It came up on my Twitter feed. His earpiece broke halfway through the song, but when it broke, he said he heard the audience singing his song.
Really?
And it was like a really emotional moment for him to hear everyone singing his song. I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah. Aiden says, Sean, I don't mean to be flippant. I'm just sad. Do you think that RTE went back to national selections or should go back? Internal selections are clearly not working. Well done, by the way.
Listen, like I'm not trying to shit on Ireland or anything like that. I get it. Not qualifying it must. Well, I don't get it because I'm from the UK, but it must hurt. I can get that. I think Ireland are on the right path. I think they're definitely on the right path and they're doing the right thing. And it's just it doesn't always work, I don't think going back to the late show will work because that was just amateur, to be honest. It just whatever that was didn't work, and some of the entries that were in those shows. Anyway, but I think the internal selections are working for Ireland, and the songs are getting better. But I think Ireland and RTE and the BBC in particular are two very intertwined broadcasters, and go, oh, this sounds like a Eurovision song. Let's send it to Eurovision. And then the rest of Europe are like, no, that's not what you meant to do. That's not what you meant to do. And yeah, we're not there yet, but hopefully by the time we get there, we'll have caught up with everyone.
Yeah. Let's answer some questions here. Congus, I was just about to read your question. Am I the only one that thinks Cyprus was overhyped? I was a bit disappointed, and she was dropping really fast in the odds. Anyone else? It was overhyped? Yeah, Gabe, you're like making a face.
No, it was not. It was very, very good, I thought. It's cemented in my mind. She's going to finish top 10. Top 5 is a possibility. It won't win, but I don't think we were saying it was going to. But she's going to do really, really well. And I think her performance tonight was superb. And it really came together out there for me. So I disagree. I don't think it's overhyped. And also, it hasn't dropped that far down the betting odds. It's still like 7th.
Yeah, but was it before? I don't know. Was it 5th at some point? But keep in mind, they don't always get it right either. So now we're moving on to Israel, by the way, in there. So Eden Alene will be the next one to pick their half. It's really loud right now. So I'm really sad for Roy, by the way. Georgia did not qualify from this semi. Yeah. So I hope you're going to be okay, right?
It's okay. Georgia's going to win it all.
Anyway. So let me see if there's some questions here. Norway's in the second half. We already said that already, yes. So let's take a look at the betting odds here real quick. Yes, Cyprus dropped a little in 8th place now, actually, while Ukraine is now in 5th place. And Malta in 2nd.
And still, the odds of Malta are still shortening.
Yes.
They are still shortening. I think we could see Malta number 1 in the odds again by tomorrow.
Yeah, I said
Can I just say, sorry, I've just had a proper like brain fart moment because I was like, why are they doing the press conference like this? Why are they not all sitting together? And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, you certainly did have
Proper
a brain
brain
fart.
dead moment.
Yes, for sure. I agree with Gabe about Malta. I said it like even in the first rehearsals. I'm like, don't pull a Netta here, where you think like, oh, she's going to flop now because weren't impressed with the first rehearsal. And wait for the actual shows when it's all coming together. That's why we have rehearsals. At Malta, once again, climbing up for a reason. So, absolutely. Let's see here. Okay, so Sabrina De Volder is asking, who do you think hurt Croatia the most, jury or televote? James, what do you think? Who was
Televote.
it? Televote?
Televote. Yeah, because I think Sean, other people alluded to it, that they evacuated to other dance camps. I didn't expect that to happen, but if I was to hazard a guess, I'd say that's what happened.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So I'm paying half attention to the conference, but we still have a minute or so.
I'd just say, if I could just jump in on that last question, I'd have to disagree personally, because I just feel like, for me, it was between Israel and Croatia, right? And I just feel like the jury probably let Croatia down because they probably helped Israel more. Mm-hmm. I feel like it could have been maybe Croatia didn't do as well as they could have done on the televote, but I feel like the jury's probably pushed Israel above them.
I'm slightly wondering further to that whether the the opposite effect has happened with Israel, because what has happened recently, it gives everyone incredibly strong feelings. The thing is, in Eurovision, if a large number of people have really negative feelings towards something, they can't vote it down. If a very small group of people have an extremely strong positive feeling towards something, and we know that group exists in the case of Israel, it can massively boost you up. And that could have been what happened as well. That may actually compensate for any televote they would have lost.
Man, we'll find out in a few days, where it ended up. That's going to be the interesting part. Do you believe in a few years all songs will be written by the same Swedish writers and stages by same people? How will we know which country has which song? I'm all about diversity. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to only get worse, or when it comes to like the same songwriters and stage people, or you think is people just too worried? For no reason.
The thing is, you always gotta stand out. Like, that is the big thing. You have to be the standout song in a year with a pack of songs. So if you're all gonna have like the same kind of vibe of song, then the one that doesn't have that will stand out. So everybody will again fluctuate towards the other side. So
performing in the first half, Israel will perform from the first half.
I mean, statistically, that was the most likely thing.
I think they're going to put her right at the start, maybe even in slot number 2. I think they're going to put her out the way.
I think they're not going to have 2 upbeat songs in a row. Well, depending on how many ballads they have at the end.
They wouldn't dare put Israel at the start anyway. That's just too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think too controversial at the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They will have an upbeat song in the beginning, and I don't think they're going to have Israel as second. I think it's going to be more like between 5th and 7th, maybe. I don't know. It comes down to where they ended up in the semis as well, or like with the betting odds, because they kind of look at that stuff as well. So I paid attention to this right now as well. It doesn't look like, I could be wrong, but they certainly don't have 19 scrolls in the bowl. It's they only have like 10 or 12 in there.
Well, there should be 18.
Yeah. Yes, they're going to evenly split them, so they didn't put all of them in there randomly. I think they just put enough that they evenly split each semis out. That's
stupid.
what. Yeah, I think that's stupid as well. It's once again production getting involved too much in the outcome.
Then they should have also done it for the Big Six.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I understand if you want to reserve like maybe 3 places each.
Yeah.
3 first half, take 3 first and 3 second half out, and keep them for semi-2 to make sure that the split isn't more than 7-3 in one direction. Okay.
Yeah.
But any more than that, it just feels a bit manufactured.
I guess they just don't want to disadvantage people being in semi-final 2.
That's
just
true.
in case they are literally getting the last picker. I mean,
But the
you're
other
all,
advantage
yeah.
could be they get an advantage. It all comes down to luck. You know, like
Well,
what
Yeah,
if all
but-
the semi ones pick the
But
first out?
Yeah, but no
though,
one's going to
like-
complain about having an advantage. But if there's a disadvantage, you bet that, like, you know, say like Greece, for example, probably a bad example, but say like another like delegation, like would just, you know, they got the last pick of the draw or whatever, and they weren't happy about the choice they got. I think that the EBU don't want to open themselves up to that.
And like statistically, if you pick a song like one of the scrolls out in the second half, taking one of them out will have more effect on the percentage you have left to picking the second or the first half than if you were to pick in the first half. So the first half will always have a better shot at getting second half if that is your goal than if you were in the second semifinal. So anyway, I do get it, but it's also a bit. Then you also need to do it for the big six because else it's a bit iffy.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see some other questions here. We have a little bit of time. Russia is currently giving a few answers to some of the questions in the press room. Pandora is asking, will Spain be in position to? Who thinks that Spain may be the second song of the night?
Ooh, ouch.
I don't think it will be because they were just number 2 years ago in 2018. They're not going to put them in the same kind of dilemma again. I don't think they would wait a few years.
It would be funny if they just put UK 1 and Spain 2, and they were just like, "Yeah, we've taken your money. There you go. There's your final spot." Like, yeah, okay, thank you.
Oh god, I've said that I can see them putting the UK at the start. Oh,
I think they will. I
It
think
feels
it's
like-
nailed on.
It's like a foregone conclusion for a lot of people thinking that UK will open the show. But we have to see. I'm not quite convinced yet. I'll wait until all halves. Well, then by the time everyone knows their half, we also will have the running order shortly after. So we shall see. Ifonto is saying Cyprus vocals today were not great at all. Who thought that she was off a little vocally today? It didn't sound off to me. Gabe says no.
No.
I thought she was poor.
You thought she was poor?
She wasn't the best.
I did think she was poor today. It could be quite similar to Ireland. Maybe they got overexcited being on the live show. I'm not too sure. The verses felt quite poor to me, but it's not the type of song that it's going to make a difference anyway.
Yeah, that is true. It's one of those songs where you can forgive a bum note. It's always hard to hear in here because, you know, the echo. You've been, John, you've been in it. Sometimes you cannot really hear it as clear because it's echoing. But she sounded good to me. But I was just curious. Do they release the rankings for the semi? Like who? Yes, they will release the ranking of the semis after the grand final. So Sunday morning, go to Eurovision.tv and they will let you know. Any guys? Well, Marco is saying, any of you guys sorry for Vasil? Not any worse than Conchita, no. Well, I don't know what comparison to Conchita song, but I think anyone not feeling sad for Vasil? Of course not. We're sad.
If that performance didn't move you, then you have a heart of stone.
Oh, well, a lot of people will now be mad at you.
It was, I honestly, it was so emotional. It was such a, if you know what the context of it all is, it was such a magical moment.
Well, there you go. You've hit the nail on the head then, because most people watching wouldn't know the backstory.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's
you're using the Eurovision fan head there again. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. He did a really good job tonight. It was brilliant. I thought this was his best run through, but it just obviously didn't have the support it needed. Like, you know, the musical theatre vote or whatever it was just wasn't out in force tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yannick is saying, I'm not sure if that is accurate or if that's official, but he says apparently the Romanian head of delegation is blaming Roxen for the results they got. I need to get more context on that, exactly what was said, how it was said, because you know, it could be taken out of context as well. I don't think that a HOD would just go out there and throw the artist under the bus 10 minutes after the show. That is highly unlikely to me. There must have been something else going on.
I'm worried now. I really hope that hasn't happened.
I hope so too. Somebody check social media and see what you can find out.
I'm having a look on Twitter. Give me a sec.
I mean, if we bring it down to the bare bones, it's not wrong. It's technically correct. because obviously the artist is the one that goes out on stage, but still, it's like, it's
very poor form, unprofessional.
Yeah,
or a head of
it's
delegation to
not,
say
definitely
that.
not something. Yeah, it's definitely not something to say, and it's definitely not what you would put all the blame on. Absolutely,
and especially
not.
against such a young performer, like, you don't say that kind of stuff, man. Like that's just shit. Like,
well, we don't get too into it right now because we don't know if it's true. So don't get all upset about it.
No, we're Eurovision fans. We take the littlest thing and we go absolutely ballistic over it. That's what we do best.
You're like, wait, we don't even know yet. So, what do you think the top 5 was in the semi, each one of you? Well, we don't have to give the whole 5. Give me like 3 songs that you think were in the top 5. James?
All right, my top 3, I would say Malta. Rotterdam should be renamed Chukken Jeristad because she owns the place now. My second one is I know you guys have a lot of misgivings about her voice, but El Diablo is a song that doesn't care about that. I thought the staging, I thought that was very good. And then my third one was is North Macedonia, but since that didn't qualify, I'm going to say Ukraine.
Ukraine. Okay, and we're going to hold on because I see Russia's picking one. The half. So here we go. Manizha is going to perform in half 1 or 2. Let's find out. It is first half. Russia will perform in the first half of Saturday's grand final. You think that's going to be like, well, where do you think they're going to put her, that kind of song?
I mean, they already.
That could also be an opener. I'm going to go against what I said.
No, this will not be an opener. That is too out there. It's too. No. And plus, I don't think them being put in third in the semis will then make them opener. I could see them more of a 7 or up, between 7 and 12.
But if you're tuning into Eurovision on a Saturday night and the first thing you see is a Russian woman in a 55-kilo dress, you go, yes, Eurovision's back.
But that's not what they want to do. They want to make, that's exactly not what the EBU wants to do. So Azerbaijan will be next. They will pick their order, or not the order, but their half next. Let's see some other questions here. I predict Lithuania is going to be the biggest bad surprise in the finals, ending up in the bottom half of the scoreboard. Who thinks that Lithuania potentially could actually flop in the semis? Who has that hunch? No, Roy, you don't think so?
I don't know. I think that's a stretch. Like it will be a strong grand final no matter what. So I wouldn't be able to put money on predicting where I think it will end up. But like bottom, no, I don't think it will become in the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I actually think it's going to do much better than people think. I think this. I mean, again, this is just anecdotal evidence, but it went super big in our poll after the show on Twitter. And last year, the polls were almost identical with the actual televote results. Doesn't mean it's going to be this year, but I think this is actually a really good, energetic song and perfect for the year 2021, and just overall a good song. So I don't think that either. So Efendi is taking a seat right now at the little thing there. In a few minutes, she will pick her half.
Is Tix with her?
Not yet. I don't think they're allowed. Do you think that they should just have the countries automatically switch which half they perform in the final based on where they performed in the semi? What do you think about that idea, Gabe?
I think that's I think that would be a bad idea. We need to avoid gimmicky, artificial ways of shaking it up. Like something like that. It's just, I mean, we have enough random number generators determining things in Eurovision already. We don't need another one. And like that, and I just think, and also given that we know that the effect, that would be such a big disadvantage to people performing in the second half of the semi-finals, because we know that if you perform first or second or third in the semi-final, you can be just fine. And you can win a semi-final from those positions. If you perform first, second, or third in the actual final, you have a massive mountain to climb. So it just wouldn't be fair. It really wouldn't be fair at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. And plus also the numbers. What if we have 7 qualifiers from the second half in the semis, and then they don't have enough space in the first half anyway? It's just it's mathematically also a slight
I think
issue there.
I've not to get on my soapbox about this, but I think the whole producer chosen running order is just a load of bullshit anyway. I know that it's a TV show, and I know that they want to make it like a good production, but God, it's a song contest at the end of the day. If you've got the best song, it doesn't matter where you are in the running order. It just, like, you look at the running order in the semi-finals and you go, okay, the producers already know who they think is going to do well, and you can tell when the final running order comes out, you already know who is going to be up there based from the semi-finals, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I get it's a TV show, but it's really not. It's not fair, if anything, in terms of a competition. It's just short of rigging, really. To put your favourites or put certain songs to have an advantage over others, and it's just like, it's in a contest where you're meant to all be equal and be on the same footing. Why would you do that?
I know. I mean, I'm on the same page with that one, and I'll keep preaching it until they change it, which I'm sure will be next year. Who do you think? Okay, everyone just say a country, and it's fine if you're wrong. But Eva wants to know, or Iva, who do you think was 11th place tonight? James, who was our 11th place?
Croatia.
Huh? Croatia. Roy, who do you think was our 11th place?
Yeah, I don't want to say the same, but I also think Croatia.
That's fair, if that's who you think. Gabe, who do you think was our 11th placer?
North Macedonia.
Okay, Sean, who do you think was our 11th place?
Croatia.
And I say Ireland. So 3 Croatias, 1 North Macedonia, and 1 Ireland. So Croatia is the winner of the losers. I don't know how to explain this. So she's picking her half, Azerbaijan. And Efendi will perform in second half. Azerbaijan will perform in the second half of the grand final. So that is definitely, I don't even have the whole list in front of me, who's in what half yet. But, Boris is making the list. But even with the finalists, but it's hard to say because right now, everything that we have in the second half is mostly upbeat or at a bare minimum mid-tempo like Norway, right? So United Kingdom, Spain, Israel, that's the first half. Italy, France, Netherlands, Germany, Norway, and Azerbaijan are in the second half, while the UK, Spain, Israel, and Russia are in the first half. So we have to wait and see. So right now, the second half, for the most part, is more upbeat. Must be sucking for the producers to come up with a running order. But that's your problem.
They put
they should just go back to they should just go back to random then, shouldn't they? God.
I know, right? May as well. So Malta is next. They have to clean all the tables, wipe them off, disinfect them, and wash the hairs. I don't know what else, but and then in a few minutes, that's when we get.
Then you forgot they have to do the hokey cokey and they turn around.
Oh, that's true. I'm so sorry. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, that means also Azerbaijan. I know. Don't hate me, but I have to bring it up again. Do you think they're going to put Azerbaijan and Norway one after another in the grand finals? Effendi and Tix. I had to do it.
I wonder if Tix has asked if any of her hairs are still on the table so we could take one home.
Oh, come on now.
Sure,
I'm here all week. This is what you want to watch. This is why 1,000 people are watching this right now. You're welcome.
There's one thing to imply romance. It's another thing to imply he belongs on a registry of some kind.
He just wants a clone. That's all.
No, it's like I said before. I think it's all an act. I think I reckon they would have become friends before Eurovision, because they were all the artists were DMing each other on Instagram anyway. I think they would have become friends before Eurovision, and now that they decided to have a bit of fun with it and to play it up for the cameras is what they're doing. Because otherwise, there is no way Tix would be doing this, and no way that Efendi would be playing into it in the way that she is.
Yeah. And they must think that most people know that this is just for fun. It's nothing serious, I think. So don't worry about that. I was just saying, like in the second half, I think France, like, bring it on, more upbeat songs, bring it on. The more, the better for them. So France is looking pretty good right now, like with all the upbeat songs in the second half. I was just thinking, let's see, well, Malta's going to be in the second half as well. Let's see here, some other questions while we're waiting for the draw here. I think it could really end really good for France. Oh yeah, if Malta also draws second half, lots of fast songs still now in the second half. So as I just pointed out, yeah, France is like, yeah. Although Belgium may come in and be like, what's up? So, so do you think it was really the juries who pushed Belgium through? Anyone think that Belgium was also in the top 10 of the televoters?
Yeah, I think so.
So basically everyone, even though you don't, you're too cool to raise your hand.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that's what we were doing. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone in our team agrees that Belgium was in the top 10. No one's saying they were higher than the jury vote, but we think that just on its own merit, the televoters liked it just for being apparently the strongest slow song of the semi, at least. So, and once again, any questions at ESC United, make sure you put that so we can see it. Do you think, Marco is saying that his scores were really close, like in the qualification, you know, like 8 to 12th place kind of realm? Gabe, do you think it was today a really close call?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few that I think dropped off on the night that weren't close. So I think, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, Ireland and Slovenia will have been a bit distant. All the other ones, I think, probably ran it close. So I'm thinking 13 up to 6 is going to be absolutely jam-packed tight together.
James, if you were an artist at Eurovision, would you prefer to, if you're the 11th place, to just miss out by 1 point after all, or you'd rather have like a 20-point gap, so, you know, at least it wasn't that, you know, close?
If I was the artist, I'd personally prefer the big gulf, because then, you know, I guess I'm of the more paranoid sort. I'd be like wondering, right, what bastard on this jury?
Recount.
Yeah. So personally, I prefer the gulf rather than just because, you know, 10th is 10th, whether you beat 11th by 20 or 1.
Yes, I agree with that. I would feel the same way. By the way, Aiden Myler, thank you for becoming a member here at ESC United. I hope you stick around all year, because we will do content not just until Saturday, but all year long, and we need your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you think maybe another voting error and wrong act go through again this year? I mean, to be fair, correct me if I'm wrong, there's never been a wrong act that gone through, right? We're just talking about what happened
last year, actually.
Who went through?
Supposedly, some juror ranked their stuff from back to front.
Yeah.
And because of that, Belarus went through instead of
Lithuania.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff. Yeah, but that is allegedly, right? Yeah.
These are the professionals.
Yeah, these are the professionals.
Like
Can't put numbers on a bit of paper, apparently.
Well, they're just claiming afterwards. They can just say that.
Yeah.
Just because they're saying that, that's myths. I believe that. Plus they had like someone confirming, like a notary saying, is this correct? And they're like, yeah, sure. So if that's their fault, I was more thinking about like the EBU messed up, kind of like what they did last year, where they had like the Belarus votes totally the opposite way. That is what I was thinking. That never happened.
Can you imagine if that had changed the winner? What a massive scandal it would have been.
I mean, it was. It changed the jury winner.
Yeah, but obviously, if
it changed. I mean, it changed the jury winner.
Oh wait. Sorry. We do have the pick now for Malta. So let's take a look. Malta's have. She's going to get a good draw in the second half, because they've opened it last year or the year before, so it would give her like a 13th position. First half for Malta.
She'll be
Malta,
put in 13th.
She will be
13th, 12th, or 13th.
11th to 13th. I'm pretty sure.
I bet Twitter's just exploded.
Yes.
And I can't wait to
overreact.
It's literally fine. Like, if the favourites get put in the first half, they get put at the end of the first half, and then it doesn't matter anyway.
I know, but people are reactionary. We know what they're like.
I know. Keep in mind, where did the Netherlands? First half. Salvador, first half. Manzemalo, first half. Conchita, first half. So don't freak out over it. they're getting a good running position. Malta will not be in the first seven songs.
Would they open with Malta though?
No, they opened
No
it
way.
2 years
Don't see
ago.
it, no.
They're not going to put them back to back.
But
So
they normally
don't
put
even-
someone normally whoever was last in the semi-final tends to go open the final.
Yeah, but only if it works
So-
out that way. Not this time around.
I really
I
don't
don't see
think
it
they'll
will
do
happen. No, I don't think so either. I think the worst case scenario would be like a 10th or something like that.
Well, there's the flaw with the system.
Exactly.
I think we
I mean,
already
I think
established
you don't
that
have to
the table
convince
likes
us.
the Open.
Yeah.
Yes. Lithuania will be next. That's the 6th country that qualified tonight.
I'm just gonna get a drink. I'll be back in a second because I'm very
Okay, hurry back. Do you think Destiny has a better chance than Ira Lasko? Ira Lasko represented Malta in 2016. Raise your hand if you think she has a
And
better shot.
2002.
Yeah, but we're talking about specifically 2016, I would assume.
Right.
So, James, yes? Raise your hand.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on top of it? Like, why do you think that?
Well, she's already got the name recognition. I mean, she is the most well-known junior Eurovision winner, and she destroyed Sofia when with Not My Soul. And this song and her vocals, I think there's a lot more anticipation for Destiny than Ira Lasko.
Yes.
As good as she was, I don't want to diminish Ira in any way, but I just think that the excitement level is much higher for Destiny.
Yes, I would agree with that. And the song was just way more popular. Malta in 2016 was almost exclusively, at least in the finals, carried by the juries. So I don't see that happening this year. Now, could it be that the juries are still putting her higher than the televote? Potentially. But I don't think it's just going to be as dramatic as it was in 2016, in my view. Because in 2002, we didn't have really juries for the most part. It was mostly just televote with some random countries doing jury or half and half, I think, at that point. So Lithuania is taking a seat right now. In the meantime, any questions for us at ESC United? Did Tick's earpiece break during his performance? Did anyone notice anything that he had issues with the earpiece? I did
What
not.
Dave
But
mentioned earlier, right?
Gabe, you said something? What did he say?
Yeah, he said in an interview, basically, his earpiece failed halfway through, but then he heard the crowd singing along with his song, so he was almost glad that it did, because it was a really powerful and emotional moment for him, and that's why he was so emotional when he finished.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yes, got it. Oh, yeah, that is because they don't hear all of that stuff. You're kind of in your own world when you perform. You don't even hear what's going out there unless your stuff breaks, your earpiece breaks. Do you think the competition could be really strong if Switzerland, I think he will qualify, also draws first half? I mean, second favorites in first half two favorites in first half and two favorites in second half. You think that's going to has a big impact, Roy? If we have two favorites in the first and two favorites in half? Although Switzerland, you can make a case, it's not quite as high as a favorite anymore because they're only number 7.
Well, I mean, I still see Switzerland as a massive favorite, but I don't know really. Like it's gonna depend on how they stand out in the running order and not necessarily the spot itself. Like I always think it's a bit mad to look at like exactly the spot where it will be or even the half. Like it doesn't matter that much, guys. Like yeah, it might matter a little bit in between which type of songs you are, but it doesn't matter too much if you're super early or super late. As long as you stand out, you'll have a good shot. So that's the most important thing, really.
Yes. Will you live stream tomorrow? The answer is Sean.
Yes, absolutely.
And twice.
Yeah.
First dress rehearsal, and because guess what? Even though Sema 1 is over, tomorrow we're going to have another show, jury show, where 50% of the votes will be decided. It's going to be bang, bang, bang every day. So,
and I'm back to not knowing anything about tomorrow, really. So I get first reactions again, which is nice.
Yeah.
That is true. And this is what's going to skew our objective perspective, because the more you watch it, the more you overanalyze everything.
Yeah.
So
we also get Flow Rider tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
yes.
so excited.
We get Flow Rider tomorrow.
Oh, joy.
So let's, in all honesty, though, not just like to being facetious, like to be honest, who thinks that just having Florida here on stage will increase San Marino's odds of qualifying? Gabe, you raised your hand so fast. You too,
This
Sean?
song,
Okay.
It is
Yes.
going to absolutely storm the televote. It is going to blitz the televotes, and
Yep.
Flowrider actually being there turns it into top 5 potential in the final. It is going to. There is no question it is qualifying. If it
Why do you
does
think
not,
that though? Just because he's a name? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just really want to get the idea behind
Yes,
what
yes, exactly. People are going to see it and be like, "Holy shit, it's Flowrider," which is what all of our.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, sorry.
Lithuania,
Nah.
second half. Florida.
Oh.
Lithuania, second half.
You keep saying Florida as well.
Yeah, because I was just going confused because
Who's
somebody
that
typed
rapper?
Florida.
Who's that rapper person?
Because
Florida?
somebody
Is he?
typed Florida in the chat. Lithuania is second half. So another upbeat song in the second half. Again, Barbara Pravi's like, check. So that's really exciting. So Cyprus will be up next. And oh, guys, good question. Boris was saying, do you think since they opened the show, Lithuania could be the closer?
No.
No, nobody thinks that it's a potential closer.
I can see it.
As much as like the thing with that I've learned with this producer running order is they never really put a favorite last. They put like another sort of sacrificial lamb. I'm thinking back to Spain in Tel Aviv.
Italy,
like
2015.
2015.
Was
that-
I
I don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember that being like a. Was it a massive favorite at the time?
Oh yeah, every
Oh,
woman over 40 was throwing their underwear at the TV with that one.
I thought I thought in what I remember 2015, it was just like it was gonna be Sweden, and that was that.
Well, it was the odds were all about the actual top 3. Russia and Italy and Sweden were all up there as the favorites. So it kind of came out to be, like what we expected. Yeah. So it definitely is the case. So, but
So the person who said in chat who said, "Who cares?" Well, you clearly, you're here. You're the one who typed in our chat.
Yeah. So they're gonna get ready. We have like 5 minutes before they do the draw. I'm sure a lot of imagine she's getting the second half as well. That's another upbeat song, but we'll see. How similar are the Roop to Alcazar? No.
What?
How similar are they? No.
Wow, that's a question.
Next question.
It's like Coldplay and Cannibal Corpse. Different.
To be fair, I would absolutely love to see that collab. That would be hilarious.
Let's not make fun of people asking questions, please.
No, I don't know where to take that one.
I mean, to be fair, if they do have a specific song in mind that they think Alcazar and the Roop unite, please do let us know. For all we know, you could actually be right if you think of that one song.
Let's be all serious, because I do think that the comparisons like...
Oh, it's because of Discoteque.
Yes.
That's why.
Crying at the Discoteque! Yes!
I was trying to make the connection. There we go. Right, now that makes sense.
Sorry, I was thinking of the Melody Festival and ones, and Crying at the Discoteque, which is a cover. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes total sense now. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. You've been vindicated, dude, in the chat.
Yeah, I feel bad now.
I feel like a real tit, actually, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what are you guys doing?
By the way, I just wanted to quickly say somebody made, and I think it's a valid point, that maybe my view on Flowrider is skewed because I'm British. I'm going to ignore the fact that they called me arrogant, but they said that my viewpoint was skewed because I'm British. I do take that on board, but at the same time, Flowrider is a huge international star for a certain group of people, especially those in their 20s and 30s now, which is quite a major demographic for the contest. I remember all those songs so well. Like I can, when I think of Flowrider, I think of like Jump and Right Round and Low and all these songs which are huge and still get played in clubs and stuff.
Yeah,
now.
like
and they don't just get played in Britain.
Yeah, when I was at university, like every second song had Flowrider on it in the charts. Mm-hmm. So it's like that is like for people of like our sort of generation, that is huge. Like people will go, "Oh my god, it's Flowrider for
And
San
people-
Marino."
And you could make
And
the same
people-
argument for Darude, because like Darude is a massive DJ who had big hits as well.
No, Darude was way longer back though, and Darude was not an international star like Flowrider. Darude was like, oh, it's that song, but people didn't recognize his name in the same manner.
Yeah,
Like,
they knew it as the song from the Dell commercials.
Yes. Cyprus is drawing, by the way, now. And Florida also... Oh, I forgot my point I was going to make with Florida. It's gone. Florida, people are making the case that, you know, it's been too long. He's been relevant. It's been a few years since he had a hit, but it's not like 15 years or so.
No, it's like 9.
First half for Cyprus. So El Diablo will be in the first half.
Ooh.
So she was shocked.
Okay. Opener.
Oh, that could be another opener. That could be an opener.
Do you reckon they'll do the thing that they did with Denmark in 2017, where they put Denmark in between Italy and Portugal and just completely sacrificed it?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they going to do that to this year?
What you mean, like they did to us in 2019, where they put us between Kaino and Hatari?
Yes, exactly. Like
And they were just like, "Oh, I'll just put the UK there. No one's going to vote for them anyway."
Listen, we are an important part of this contest. Someone needs to be the filler.
Yeah, we are the cannon fodder.
We have 3 songs left. I mean, 3. Sweden and Belgium and Ukraine still have to pick their running order. I'm not sure. Boris, you have the article up, right? How many spots people in the second half? Altogether, like with 7. So that means we still have 6 spots left. And first half? 6, so almost. So we have 7 left there. Almost. So it's almost 50-50 now. Okay. So there's a good shot that people, you know, it's going to be exciting. That's my point. So let's ask more questions here while we're waiting. Mandy van den Hoogen says, don't you think Ireland underestimated the pressure of a live performance and therefore complicated the act too much? I thought the act overtook the song. What do you think, James?
I don't. Okay, this is kind of a difficult one, so give me a sec. I think she can do it because I saw in the second dress rehearsals, she did it. She nailed it. She nailed it perfectly. It's just that when it counted, unfortunately, there were a couple of issues with the execution. So no, I don't think the Irish delegation overestimated her ability to do it because we actually did see her do it.
Mm-hmm. So I see already Tusse taking the stage right now. So we'll get that hopefully in just a moment. I missed the qualifiers. Who got drawn last, I guess, and say it was Belgium. Who wants to tell the person the truth? Nobody? Okay, Roy is. He's waving the flag.
And it was not funny.
It was Ukraine. It was funny.
We all knew it would go through.
I know. It was like one of those. Yeah, that's like the most obvious one. I would have even more like been like, wait, Cyprus not yet? You know, that would have been slightly more believable even for me than Ukraine, I think. Yeah. But yeah, so absolutely. Let's see. When will we know the semifinal scores? A popular question by Eric's. Sunday morning, right after the grand final. So stay tuned for that. And we will do a very detailed analysis of the actual results. So make sure to stick around. I will put that stuff out on ESC United and, of course, on our YouTube channel as well. So if Sweden gets first half, would they open? Eurovision fan is asking. Anybody thinks that Sweden is an opener?
No. Doesn't feel like one.
No, it's too slow. They want to open at least with something a little bit more energetic. Let's think back. In 2019, it was Malta. Chameleon, right? Energy. 2018, who was 2018 opener? Somebody help me. 2018, who opened 2018? Ukraine. Yeah, also.
Ukraine.
Yeah, upbeat. 2017 was Imre Ziv, Israel. 2016 was Belgium. What's the pressure? And the list goes on and on. That's just basically what they do. So, no, Sweden will not be first half.
I think Cyprus is a very good shout.
Yeah. UK is still a contender, though.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Too.
But let's wait. They didn't want to put Israel through last as it would have been controversial. I guess, yeah, that's probably why they put them in second, because it's not first. Just, get them second and move on. I don't know. I try not to think about it, but it's unfortunate that something this kind of carries over to the contest. Alex is saying, I think announcing Norway and Israel first took out many hopes for many unlikely qualifiers. Do you think that's an accurate statement, or you think not really?
Yeah, definitely with
Yeah.
the Israel statement.
I don't think so. I mean, we've had years where it's just been a complete horror show and all kinds of songs have qualified that we've not really expected. So I don't think it rules anything out. That early in, you've still got 8 chances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, with Israel being announced like second, I was like, well, that's Croatia gone then.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well. Like, is that the Croatia one, or is it like, but somebody was going to miss out, obviously. But yeah. So they're still asking questions there. So keep asking at ES United in the chat. We'll do the best to answer the questions. Malta. Okay, sorry. Then have you heard James Brothers John Newman's music? He is massive in the UK. I never heard of him, but Gabe and Sean may be able to. Are you familiar with that gentleman?
Yeah.
Yes.
John Newman.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's he doesn't release much anymore, I don't think, but he was big about 2013.
Oh,
I
so it's
think
been
was
a
when he
little.
sort of started. Yeah.
A bit later.
But like James wrote a lot of his music, so James is obviously a really accomplished songwriter.
Yeah.
So now he's
2
stepping out into the
Grammys
limelight.
nominated.
Yeah.
Don't you believe that they will put a opener stage that is time consumer to prepare? I would like to hear your opinion on that as well, but I don't necessarily think that, because Lithuania had zero craziness going on, and I mean San Marino a little bit. But do you think that would be a factor? I mean, then the UK and Cyprus again could be good contenders. Do you think that's what they may do? What do you think, Sean?
The only thing I'd say, it's like, so yeah, the UK could open and we've got the trumpets, but then it's like, if you put something complicated first, would it not just make it more difficult to get the second act on stage? And then you can't have a break after the first song, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. There's also,
so that's my concern.
Yeah. Here's also my thing. There are also 2 differences between putting it on, because, for instance, Island is more time consuming to bring it on stage because it's in the right place. While it's probably easier to get it off because you just pull it off and it's done. And so that's probably what you have to take into consideration as well. Like, is it difficult to put on stage, or is it difficult to get it off stage? That is another factor. But anyway, Sweden is now drawing their half. Tusse, is he going to perform the first or second half? And here we go. It is second half. Sweden is going to perform second half. So Barbara probably disapproves. But nevertheless, it's not up to her to decide this. We got another ballad in the second half. Do you think that is going to be helpful for Sweden at this point, looking at the current distribution? What do you think, Gabe?
So, I mean, maybe before they were going to come 21st, now they'll come 19th. Like this, I mean, the entry, unfortunately, for a really superb singer in Tusse, I think this entry is just, it's going to finish uneventfully in the middle of the pack, no matter where it is.
You think so? You don't think it's going to be like top 5 with the juries?
Oh, no. No. There's, I think top 10 maybe, but I can't see it doing any better than that. It's just, it doesn't have the same, it's not as good as those songs that had unnaturally high jury scores before. Yeah. It's not as good as John Lundvik or Benjamin Ingrosso, for example.
Really? I see, because I feel this. I got the same feeling of Benjamin Ingrosso and Robin Bengtsson and all these songs. I'm like, they're all just not really that special or original to me, yet they put them so high every single time. So I'm thinking this may happen again. This is something about the music with Sweden that they just love, that we kind of always underestimate. But maybe that's just me, because I'm looking at patterns.
I have a theory that supports Gabe. I think the juries are starting to figure that each song Sweden sends is a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. At some point, this pattern has got to break, and I think this year is the year it'll do it.
But that's mostly just like not like based. Okay, I sound like a dick when I say that, but that's mostly just a subjective. It's not like based on like data. It's just like a feeling that you're having, right?
It's a different jury every year anyway, isn't it? So surely that doesn't factor.
Well, yeah. By the way, Stephen J saying, I don't know what that website. Do you know ESC Tracker? I don't know
I've just had a look, and so on ESC Tracker, I just had a quick look, and Sweden is actually charting 3rd in Sweden, 28 in Norway, 33 in Denmark, 53 in the Netherlands, 66 in Ireland, then Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, Germany.
So is there something to it? What about the other songs?
Yeah, Lithuania is doing well. Then Malta's starting to chart. Malta's at 169 in the UK. Cyprus 167 in the UK. So Cyprus will have done well. Well, probably could do well on Saturday.
How accurate
were they? The UK.
How accurate were they in the past? Was Norway like a super big charter in 2019? Or not really?
I think it is a good indicator for the televote, because I think I remember Calm After the Storm and on ESC Tracker. I remember that going well after the semi-final. Like it started to climb up the charts across Europe. So,
does anyone know from last year, from 2019? Because that would be something I would like to see in the recent couple of years. If that was really like an indicator, if it is, then
Soldi was very good. Soldi did very, very well in the charts. Yeah, I remember.
But it was only 3rd, right, in the televote. Only, of course, using that lightly here.
It's indicative, but it's not perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And looking at the charts for Spirit in the Sky, Kino, a lot of 50s and 60s, but Norway is number 1, Switzerland number 7, Estonia number 11, and then it's just a bunch of 50s and 60s.
Keep in mind, not every song is actually really like a chart-friendly song. You know what I mean? So that's not always indicative either.
I feel like as well, like with just on Sweden, the top 3 for Sweden is Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Now, I'm not obviously from those countries, but I'd imagine they'd have very similar charts or sort of groupings of artists. So that could factor into that.
Yeah.
Whereas Lithuania is charting sort of all over, really, which is quite interesting.
Switzerland, by the way, Cathal said Switzerland was number 1 on ESC Tracker on the day of the final in 2019. And they did well. I mean, they were 4th overall, and I think 4th in the televote or 5th. I don't remember, but up there. So that's just interesting to see. So we're now waiting for Belgium and see what half they will end up in. Which one is the surest thing? Finland qualifying in semi or Cyprus giving 12 points to Greece in the final? Both, I guess. That's what I would say.
I'm going to say Finland qualifying because it's likely, but we don't know yet that Greece is through.
That is true. That is true.
Until they're through.
Yeah.
But I think Greece will go through.
So let's just wait for. They have probably a few minutes. The press center is supposed to close in 18 minutes, so I'm sure I probably should start packing up because they're just okay, now we're close. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Oh, I know. Mine left too. My bus. I need to take probably a Lyft or an Uber or a taxi or whatever. I could walk. It's a 30-minute walk. It's a 30-minute walk, and usually I wouldn't mind. However, that heavy equipment, it really gets tough. Yeah. So that's the only problem. Otherwise, I would just walk. And
you've got young thugs like Roy hanging out, making threatening noises at you for your entire walk.
Yeah.
Yes, Georgia.
You've got the Greek delegation Georgia watching out for you as well.
Well, I appreciate everyone.
That's a joke.
I appreciate everyone in the chat sticking around because I know it's been a long night, and for all of us. Who is this year's classy entry that will be robbed? Classy is subjective, I guess. I think we already had it. happening with North Macedonia, in my view.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Oh, wow. Sorry
What?
to jump in, but I just noticed someone in the comments saying go to ESC Tracker again, and it's changed.
What has
Ukraine
changed?
is now the most popular.
Yes, exactly.
So I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if it's just updated, but Ukraine and Malta are now ahead of Sweden and Lithuania. So I don't know what that means really.
Look, I'm gonna say it here.
Interesting.
Ukraine is in it to win it. Genuinely, like that performance.
Anyway,
was
sorry, go
absolutely
ahead.
electric. Everybody loved it.
but you keep forgetting about the juries.
It's a.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's
but
a
it's a good
super
televote
well-produced
indicator.
Song.
At the same time, the thing is, we have to be cautious with the iTunes rankings on ESC Tracker for a couple of reasons. Firstly, that iTunes isn't as heavily used anywhere anymore, but there are some countries where people do not use iTunes, so a very small number of sales can massively distort charts. Like, this is why it's generally indicative, but it's not as instructive as it was. That I remember way back in like 2010, 2011, in the iTunes charts, like Satellite was #1 everywhere, and everyone knew it was going to win for that reason. You can't really do that so much anymore. It's more about the streaming numbers, and we just don't know as much.
I think
that.
I think Spotify is a better example, but I don't know of like a live Spotify chart if there even is one. I don't know if it's feasible.
Yeah.
They have one on ESC Tracker, but it's not very good.
Yeah, some people also talk about the views on YouTube, which I think it's not always the best indicator either.
No.
Because let's be real, people from your own country or neighbors often watch. Like maybe it's a little helpful, but give me 1 second. Yes, Boris. Norway has the lowest numbers. Yeah, I don't believe that either. So Norway has currently the lowest numbers of views on YouTube out of the qualifiers. So whether or not that means anything, I leave that up to you. Wow, Belgium's talking forever. But let's give it another minute.
I can believe that with that Alex Callier in the group.
Yeah.
I've seen interviews.
Mark is asking, and I'm aiming that question particular to James here. Your opinions on the postcards.
I like the ones I've seen thus far. I felt really horrible when I saw Anna Soklich's one, and she's a cat lady. I was like, oh no. I thought I liked Vasil's one because he sort of did a hint back to his opera days in Banff, which is this lovely Canadian mountain town where he spent a year at their opera, and he learned how to rock climb there. So I like that little touch. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the postcards.
So now we are moving on to the draw here. Again, Belgium is picking a house. Boris is melting. I know. First half. So once again, Barbara Pravi is making an extra spin for the room because one less ballot in the second half. I will run this joke to the ground. Sorry, I have to. But Belgium will perform in the first half, so we have only one country left, which is Ukraine. So let's play the guessing game because we're so good at that. If Ukraine gets second half, would they put them closer to the end, like 24 through 26, or where would they end up, you think?
I think they could close the show.
I agree. It has that kind of vibe where you just think, yeah, I could see that being like the impression you want to leave on people at the end of the night. Something to really like wow people at the end. I mean, they put, it's the kind of thing they do. They put favorites and those kinds of songs at the end, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. However, they're also, not all the time, because it happened with Elena Ferreira, but usually, right? Usually they're trying not to be too obvious, so put them like in 20 or 21st, because, they were just second to last in the semi. Do you know what I mean? They all try at least. Yes, with Elena Ferreira, they didn't care. They put her last in the semis and then second to last in the final. So I'm not saying it cannot happen, but more often than not, that's what they usually gravitate towards. Now, let's play the other card, though. What if their first half? Could there be an opener?
No.
Why not?
Who, me?
I just think it isn't something you want to start your show with. Like, it is something that booms and it like shocks you in a way. Like, the visuals are kind of disturbing, but like a good kind of disturbing. So you don't want to like start your show with like mannequins floating in space trying to escape the prison that they're in with the like shadows. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think it will be a show opener.
But then I don't think the same reason could be applied to be that being the last song could also be a little much at the same time. I think Ukraine is more of a 22nd kind of candidate to me, I think. I don't feel that as a closing song, but I think it's going to be, if it's a second half, pretty good draw regardless. That's my feeling. I agree with your assessment though, Roy, that it would not be a good opener. I think they usually go with more like a little more chart-friendly mainstream song pop.
Yeah.
That's usually seems to be the tendency to get people eased into the contest rather than getting all the songs out there. So I know that Barbara probably is now sending vibes to Ukraine to get second half as well. So let's hope that she's getting in her way. And I love Barbara. I'm picking on her, but I'm not. I'm just celebrating her because, she's already sending threatening letters to Tusse. Let's see here. Which one this is least likely to happen? Poland qualifying in semi or any country getting a full 0 points in the finals? Full 0 points, not just half 0 points. Full 0 points. What is least likely to happen? What do you think, James?
What's least? Oh boy, these are two remote out there ones. Am I the only one who thinks Poland doesn't have a hope and a prayer?
I agree with you. You're right.
I think they have a shot. I don't think they're.
I wouldn't say it doesn't.
It's a
have
moonshot.
hope or a prayer.
I'll give it like a 10% shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's got no chance whatsoever, but
Agreed.
I think we all say that it's probably not, at this moment, probably not a qualifier. But I mean, I haven't seen the second semi-final, so I could be wrong entirely when I see it.
Yeah, but what is the answer then, James?
I would say I would say it's slightly more, and bear in mind these are long odds, slightly more likely Poland will qualify, because I don't know if there's a song in the final that we can think of, or a song in this contest this year that's crap enough or forgettable enough to get 0 from both jury and televote.
Yeah, I hear you. Anybody else wants to chime in? No? Oh, well, then I'll chime in. I will say it's probably less likely to get total 0 points. I think it's more likely for Poland to qualify than somebody getting 0 points completely in the semis. I also want to just let everyone know in the chat, once Ukraine has drawn the half, I have to shut down virtually immediately because we got to get out of here because they're going to shut down in 9 minutes, and it takes me like 10 minutes to put this all back in my bag. So also,
and if Matt doesn't pack up in time, they'll take him away and we'll never see him again.
I go to Eurovision jail and they play horrible music like Euro like all day long, and
they play Switzerland 2004 on loop.
Oh my God! Celebrate! Oh, celebrate! I'm like, I don't want to get into that. No. And Israel,
come on, Gemini, Crybaby. On
the live version on top of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
they play UK 2010 with like bass boosted.
That sounds good to me.
So Pandora says, if Poland qualifies, they will get 0 points. That's 100% disagreement because they have diaspora just to give them some points. So if they qualify Poland randomly, they will not get 0 points. Anyone disagrees? Anyone disagrees?
No.
All right.
Nope.
No. I was threatening you because I don't like when you disagree with me. So that's my threatening voice. So
0 points will get no. Georgia will win the semi-final, win Eurovision.
Yes, and once again, they may not qualify Georgia, but they will win Eurovision.
Yes, exactly.
That is what we established here already.
I've got a bridge outside of Tbilisi I want to sell you, Roy.
Oh, I showed you around. Yes.
Which country could be the Croatia of the second semifinal, thus a shocking non-qualifier? Real quick, who do you think may be the Croatia of semifinal 2? Roy?
No, don't start with me. Don't start with me.
Gabe?
Serbia.
Sean?
I mean, I don't know what people are expecting, but I'm going to say Czech Republic. I don't know if
Republic.
people think that'll qualify or not, but yeah.
James.
I'm going to go with Gabe here, Serbia.
Okay. I'll go with Albania. Roy.
San Marino.
That would would be okay. So again, I had another question now. My brain is.
It would be a shock.
It would be a shock. That's why I'm like, especially with Florida. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Okay. Well, they're still talking. Let's see if you have any other questions. What position do you think Lithuania will play in the final, like in the running order? Do you? I think we talked about before, and I don't even remember your answers. Could Lithuania be a closer? Did we say no? You guys said no, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I still think it could be a closer, but I don't think there will be either. But I think it's not completely impossible. You think that Norway got any love from the juries? Do you think Norway was just a televote favorite, but the juries were like, eh? Roy, you shaking your head?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely has jury appeal. Like, this song you could just slap on the radio immediately. And, like, our Dutch commentators are rude as damn, like, all the time. But, they were kind of kind. And, like, one of them is a radio host. Like, and he has been also a juror before in previous years. So he was positive about it.
Sorry to interrupt, but the draw is happening for Ukraine. Okay. Ukraine will perform in... Second half!
Yeah. Whoa!
Yes! Barbara Pravi's vibes, it worked. Her voodoo doll is doing its thing. So,
Ukraine closing the show then. Has to.
I still don't think it's a closer, but I do think it's too out there. Six first half, 4. I'm sorry. Okay, got it. So we have 6 first halves left and 4 2 halves for tomorrow. For semifinal to the day after tomorrow. Forgive me. Team and everyone, and everyone in the chat, thank you so much for being here. This was fun. We all gotta get some sleep in, because tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll be off on a few minutes before that. We'll have our first dress rehearsal for semifinal 2, and we're going to start this whole thing over. So make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll guide you through those shows.
Yes.
All right. So again, sorry, I have to run right away, but I'm already getting nasty looks. I'll talk to you all later, okay?
Eurovision jail's calling for you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.